Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over the compare symbol function in TradingView. This is a very useful tool that I think is very underutilized by traders. I mean, of course, if you have a package, for example, here in TradingView, another platform where you can like split the screen and you can put, let's say, two different symbols on the screen. Obviously, that is a way that you can use to compare instruments. For example, here, if I split the screen in two, then you can see I'm showing Bitcoin on the left and Ethereum on the right. You can do this with any symbol. However, there is a way where on a single screen, you can compare two symbols, one on top of the other, two different markets or more. And that is what I'm going to show you here briefly, how you can do that specifically within the TradingView platform. So what you're going to do is, let's just stay in the crypto market for this example. And this is a Bitcoin chart. As you can see, Bitcoin US dollar, Tether US from Binance. This is a daily chart. And let's say I want to compare it to something like Ethereum, which is a market that moves very similarly to Bitcoin. So I want to check historically how these two markets have moved together. So what you do is you go up to the top right, top left corner here, where it says the symbol, and you're going to notice there's a little plus sign right there. So you're going to go press that plus sign. That's going to bring a window here that says compare symbol. So from there, here you can just type in whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to put ETH USDT. So I'm going to look for Ethereum and Tether US from Binance. So I'm comparing them on the same exchange. And you can even see you have some shortcuts here. When you highlight this, you can put same percentage scale, new price scale, or new pane. If we put same percentage scale, you can see that we get the same symbol, one on top of the other. So in this case, you can see that we have Bitcoin US dollar in the candlesticks, and we have the Ethereum on the orange line right here. If we want to see the other example, if we go and we put new price scale, then you can see that we're going to get a double scale here. So we're going to have, in this case, the first scale is going to be for Bitcoin, and you can see we're at 29,734. And then the second scale is going to be for Ethereum, which is at 1887.60 right now. Okay. The third option is new pane. If we put that, then what it does is it's gonna split the screen in two. And here you can control how wide you want each one. And each pane is gonna have its own price scale. Okay, so those are the three default ways that you can add a market to compare with any market that you wish. Now, you can put more than two markets. Let's say we put Ethereum. If you don't put any of the shortcuts and you just click on this, by default, it's going to apply it as a percentage scale, as you can see here. On the right side, instead of prices, you're going to get a percentage, and you cannot move this scale around. If I want to add a third symbol, I just go to the plus again. Let's say we want to compare this with, I don't know, let's say we want to compare this with Solana. So we put Sol USDT. And now you can see we have three markets now. We have Bitcoin in the candlesticks, Ethereum as the orange line, and Solana as the light blue line on a percentage scale. If we go down to the bottom of the scale, you can see there's an A and an L. The A by default is going to be on, and that means it's an auto fit data to screen. So if I start moving this chart back, this is going to keep adjusting the scales so they're proportional to each other to fit everything in the screen from top to bottom on the charts. If I take the automatic off, now I can freely move the chart to anywhere I want on the screen. And if I press logarithmic, now you can see the percentage scale goes away. And now what we're left with is basically a price scale. In this case, you can see how the charts get very crunched up because now this is going to be based on the price of each instrument. So Bitcoin is 29,736, Ethereum is 1887, and Solana is $25. So that's why they're all so scrunched, because we need a big scale to fit in this big price difference. Now, the way that I really like to do this, and the way that you can change how it displays the symbol that you're comparing, is I like to apply the second symbol to a new price scale on the left side. And again, you can do this with anything. Let's say I want to compare the S&P 500 market with the NASDAQ. So right here, I have the ES contract in futures, a daily chart right here. I go into the plus, and I'm going to put NQ. And right here, I'm going to go to NQ1 exclamation, which is the perpetual continuous contract for NASDAQ futures. And so right here, you can see I have the S&P in candlesticks and the NASDAQ as an orange line chart. So let's put logarithmic. And you can see now we have the NASDAQ on top at 15,597, S&P at 4567. So what I do is I take my cursor until I'm on top of the NASDAQ line chart, and you can see the cursor turns from a cross into a little hand. So I'm on top of this. I'm going to double click it, and you can see that now we get a little menu. Visibility, this is going to be choose what time frames you want this to show up in. Inputs, this is simply what symbol I am using. I can just click here and choose any symbol or market that I want. In style, you can see that you can change the color of the line. I can make it purple, I can make it black, etc. But since I like candlestick charts, I like to make the symbol that I'm comparing a candlestick as well. So under style, you can see you can choose anything. You can do a bar chart, you can do candles just like this. I sometimes like to use hollow candles just so they're a little bit different, so I can differentiate the markets. I can change the colors here of the candles as well, like this. I can make the borders black, which is what I usually like to do, borders and wicks in black. And I press OK. So now we got NASDAQ and S&P. Oh, also, if I double click, I like to put the price line in. And you can see now we have a price line here for the NASDAQ. But how do I separate this into two scales so I can compare them better side by side? Well, what you do is put your cursor on top of the, in this case, the NASDAQ, right click, and then down at this option that says pin to scale, it says now right. If you go down here, I like to select pin to new left scale. When I do this, you can see that now I have a price scale for NASDAQ. Or sorry, I have two price scales in this case. So right here, you can see the NASDAQ is pinned to the left scale and the S&P 500 is pinned to the right scale. So if I click anywhere on the chart and I move it, I'm moving the S&P. I can click on the price scale and make the candlesticks bigger, like I can extend them or squish them. And then for the NASDAQ, the same thing. If I click directly on the candles, I can move this scale wherever I want. And if I click and pull on the left scale now, I can also change how this market, where this price is, okay? So in this case, these are two markets that I highly positive correlated. What does that mean? That means that they move pretty similarly since they're both based. NASDAQ is the top 100 stocks in the stock market and the S&P is the top 500 stocks. So NASDAQ is more heavily based on the tech industry, but overall they move pretty similarly. Okay, so this is pretty much how you compare the symbols. As you can see, I have a price scale now for the S&P 500 here on the top, and I have a left scale for the NQ or the NASDAQ market here on the left. If I want to move this chart, I just click anywhere and move this, and I can change how big or small it is by clicking on the scale. If I want to change the size of the NASDAQ, I just click on the left scale, or I click on the chart directly and I can also move it. But if I zoom out, you can see the utility of this, how now by comparing these two symbols, we can see how overall these markets move very similarly. When one is pushing down, the other one is as well. They're both pushing up. In this case, we had a nice breakout on both of these markets, etc. But this is a very useful way to look for divergences or differences between different markets, either if they're positively or negatively correlated. Okay, and I'm going to make a new video next week going over how you can use correlations in different markets in order to help you in your trading decisions and to see, to try to estimate turning points or different divergences that may give you an edge in your trading. Okay, that's pretty much it for the video. Hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.